Hello, everybody. I'm just getting here set up here. I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare live chat. It is getting dark, as you can see, and you're in the right place. Boy, looks really dark. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. We are Thursday edition today. Thank you for letting me make that change. Monday was a travel day for me, so I needed to travel then. So we will see how people might arrive in here. I know it's an unusual day for me, or unusual day for live for me. So we'll see if people might not find it. All right, let's see who's here. Verna's here. Hi, Verna. Welcome, welcome. First here, first like. All right. Erica says hello, Katrina. Hello, Erica. Hope you're doing well. And all right, most have not arrived. All right. That is okay. Whenever I do a Thursday, it's always a little iffy on who will show up. Sometimes we get people showing up late. Sometimes people forget about it and go through the middle or whatever. So yeah. Verna says you'll be gone again next week. Your next live is November 6th. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So yeah, so we have Thursday Night Live happens the first week of the month. No. When the first Monday of the month occurs, that becomes a Thursday night live instead of a Monday night. So yeah, this week was a special conditions, and then next week we are also doing Thursday. So thank you for reminding me, Verna. Yeah, so I hope you guys are doing well. A reminder for people, Erica knows it already. She's a member. We are doing the Cook With Me Live, the member. I'm just looking up the calendar here. The membership, and there you can there's a link down below for the join button or a link in the description. And we have on our calendar, oops, were we doing Sunday at 12:30, Erica? I think it's Sunday at 12:30. Not 30th, the 23rd. So the Sunday before, tell me if I'm wrong, if it's Saturday, I don't remember. The weekend before Thanksgiving, we are doing the Cook With Me Live, and we are making pumpkin pie. So that was at 12:30, noon 30. The weekend before Thanksgiving, which I think we had Sunday. Okay, good. Thank you for confirming that, Erica. Apparently, I wrote it down on the refrigerator calendar, but it's not on this one. So it is now. So we're doing 12:30, noon 30 on Sunday the 23rd. So we have quite a ways to get there before then, but I wanted to give people a chance to sign up. If you sign up, you have the chance to watch all of the other previous Cook With Me lives. We do this once a month, and so there's quite a bit of backlog going on for that, so that's good. What I'll do is I'll give you the ingredient list, and then we cook it together. So you have to be there or watch the replay to know what we're doing. So it's fun. So we have made pumpkin pie before, and it just seems to be a good thing to do because most people make pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. And so if we do it on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, then you're literally doing something you were going to do anyway that week. So it doesn't take up extra time that week because we all know, as you get closer to the holiday, you have family coming in and all that stuff. So that's what we'll do. We will be working from pumpkin glop. So I do have, that's all that is a pumpkin puree. So I do have, let me see, here we go. Copy. I do have, so pumpkin puree recipe. This is how I do it. You can get it as a I put a link there, as you can get it as a like a canned pumpkin, just make sure you're getting canned pumpkin, not canned pumpkin pie stuff. And then we'll put it together. So you guys can do the pumpkin puree on your own and then do that. So all we basically do is hollow out a pie pumpkin is about 3 cups of pumpkin glop, because that's what it sounds like when it goes into the container. Glop, glop, glop. And so pumpkin puree. So a pie pumpkin is about 3 cups, and that's how much the recipe makes. It makes enough for 2 pies. So do with that information what you will. And yeah, so it's really easy. You just hollow out a pumpkin, cut it in half, turn it upside down on in a baking sheet or baking dish. Put about a knuckles worth of water in there, and you bake it for 40 minutes or so until the innards come out. So do that and blend it up, and there you go. So that's what you'll need to do ahead of time. And what I do is I do that and I freeze a bunch of it, and then I don't need it for a while. And you can freeze it in 3-cup increments. So that's pretty cool. Verna baked a pie pumpkin tonight for dinner. Baked pumpkin and cottage cheese. Awesome. I baked a pink lady one yesterday. Pink lady is, I'm gonna guess just by how it looks, it's in the Cinderella pumpkin group. Like that's what it looks like, but it's pink. And it's actually really good. So yeah. PJ has it on the calendar. Awesome, awesome. PJ, your name changed. Hope you're doing good. Sounds delish, says Verna. Awesome. Yeah, Verna says if you don't have pumpkin, you can also use sweet potatoes. I don't know how that would turn out with all the different flavorings, but you could definitely try. Sweet potato is less watery than the pumpkin glop that I use, but yeah, go for it. PJ says I have to get some pumpkins. You know what? If you haven't gotten them yet, wait till after tomorrow. I'm sure they'll be on sale. I don't know about pumpkins. And for sure after Thanksgiving they'll be on sale, right? Yeah, you can use acorn squash. You can use any type of squash. So that's a good point. So pie pumpkin in the stores is just that orange like pumpkin that's like that big. That's not actually what they use for pie filling for like the canned pumpkin. The canned pumpkin it's a different variety, and it I don't remember what the shape is, but it looks, the outside looks more like a butternut squash. But it's a certain variety that they use for that, but it's not it's not a pie pumpkin. So kind of interesting. And then I've done pumpkin pie out of all sorts of different winter squashes, and they all pretty much work. So just have slightly different flavors. So yeah. Ooh, PJ says closed on the refinance in New York house last night. One step further. Yay! PJ, I'm so happy about that. I know you've been thrown around with that thing. Hubbard squash. Yeah, Hubbard squashes are one of the best squashes. Blue Hubbard and Jardel. Those are my 2 favorite that I've had. Yeah. Yep. PJ says I just use any pumpkin I get. I think that's true to an extent. I have tried to make my first time trying to make pumpkin soup, and I didn't really know how to cook with pumpkin at that time, and I was following a recipe that I got online. I got the biggest pumpkin I could find, like a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, because that was like the cheapest, biggest food, and I was not rich, right? And yeah, so when I did that, I was going for like the amount of food for the most amount of food for the least amount of money. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. The pumpkins that are meant for carving and jack-o'-lanterns are not the tasty kind. So yeah, if you have a choice between the two, get the other one. I mean, the one that I got, the pink lady, the that's like a Cinderella, its flesh is like that deep. So there's a lot of flesh, even though it's a smaller pumpkin. Yeah. 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 So Erica says, good news, PJ. Glad to hear it. And congrats from Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Dawn's name, everybody's name changed. Why did everybody's name changed? Did YouTube do something? Huh. Verna's still vase place. Anyway, they have green pumpkins too. Yep, there are all sorts of different colors of pumpkins. Yeah. So, yeah, but congratulations, PJ, for sure. For sure. Yeah, they put the app before people's name, but then they put like numbers after. I don't know. I don't think we need all these changes, right? There you go. Yep. Erica says, I eat the seeds from the big pumpkins and feed the flesh to the birds and goats. That sounds great. Fun tip. You guys, everybody on here already knows, but hopefully people watch later may not know. Pumpkin seeds are a natural dewormer. So if you think your animals need that, go ahead and give it to them. Yeah, I don't know why they did that, Dawn. The numbers. Erica, you just say and dogs, and I know exactly what you're saying, but I just think it's funny you said and dogs. Yeah, so all the animals, I mean, even yourself, I think. But the thing I don't know is if that's all. So squashes in general have 4 different families. Is that true? I don't remember if it's families or different. They have 4 different groups. So I don't know if that is true of the seeds in all of those groups or if it's only true of the seeds in one of those groups. And I have not. At one point, I tried to look it up and I didn't find anything definitive. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, also humans. Yep. So yeah, pumpkin seeds are good. They're good for you. They're bad for worms. Winter group of squashes. Yeah, so there's I still think there's 4 different kinds. There's a video that Baker Creek did that really showed the 4 different groups, and that was really well done. It was very like one of those short videos, not shorts, but not a long video. Yeah, so yeah, I did not grow any squash this year because I didn't grow anything this year. But what did you guys grow? Anybody grow their own pumpkins or winter squashes this year? Yeah, I need to start incorporating more of that kind of stuff into my diet. It's good. It tastes good. I just don't ever remember how to use it. So I've done a pumpkin curry. There's a pumpkin, actually the soup that I know I think is pumpkin soup, but it has some curry flavors in it. And then the Cinderella or the pink lady pumpkin that I baked up last night or yesterday, I actually just heated it up on the stove top and I added butter and brown sugar, which I don't usually do, but I want to try it. And it was very good. And I had that on top of English muffins. Not very much protein in that meal, but but that's what I had for dinner last night. So yeah. Oh, Erica says, speaking of goats, the baby is doing great. Good, good. Good, good. Verna says, I'm thinking of trying it next year. LOL. Worst they can do is tell me to get rid of it. Exactly. You know? Yeah. PJ says, my cherry tomatoes in South Carolina are doing great. Are they mailing you them? Or are they dehydrating some for you? Hopefully, or using them at least. Man. Dawn says, I tried to grow 3 Jack B. Little pumpkins for my parrot, but the drought got to them all. So I've had Dawn, are you talking about the pumpkins that are like that big that are like decorative pumpkins? I actually got a recipe from a friend of mine, and you hollow it out, or not, you don't hollow it out. You get the seeds out, which is not very many. And it's a soup, or no, it's not a soup. It's a rice dish that you make in the pumpkin, and then you bake the whole thing, and then you can scoop out some of the pumpkin when you do the rice dish. Is it rice? I think it was rice. And that was actually pretty good. It was kind of a lot of work for what it was, but it was really good. So if you have those little pumpkins, don't just throw them away. I mean, I don't think anybody, a lot of people do that actually. All right. I don't know what IGA is, but Dawn says after Halloween, the IGA will give us a sack of them for the bird. That's good. Desiree says, "Hello, hello, Desiree." Oh, Bruce is eating all the cherry tomatoes. That is, yes, that's a good use. That's a good use. Steve's here. I got distracted. Oops. Hey, that is okay. I figured people are going to be trickling in. It's not the usual time. And a reminder that next week is also a Thursday. So we have 2 Thursdays in a row. Next week isn't Thursday. I'm saying the live chat next week is going to be on Thursday because we have I have my B meeting on Monday. So far we've been talking about pumpkin pie, which we're doing for the Kukumi Live the weekend before Thanksgiving. And we're talking about pumpkins. So yeah. IGA is a grocery store. Okay. Yeah, okay. So Dawn, it is that same kind, Jack B. Little. They're good for my bird. He loves them, and I can set them in the cage with them. Yep. Yeah, birds like pumpkins. I think probably everybody likes pumpkins. I haven't ever given the rabbits pumpkins. I don't really want to try that because I don't want to give them. Okay, pumpkin also makes things soft, and I don't. If things if their little nutrition packets get too soft for too long, that can actually cause them pretty harm. So I don't know. I'm sure some would be fine, but I'm not going to. If anybody knows how much rabbit might be able to have, put it in the chat. IGA is Independent Grocers Alliance, a group of independently owned grocery stores. Okay. I did not know that. Yeah. Independent Grocers Alliance. Grocers Alliance. That sounds like there's a movie there or something, or a book, something like that. Anyway, so nobody grew pumpkins this year, huh? Historically, I have grown pie pumpkins, and then they just show up in this new place. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to things just growing because in the past, a lot of my plants I had established for years and years, and then they would just pop up on their own, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's time to plant those." And then here I don't have that reminder yet. Okay, Don says IGAs are the only thing we have around here, except for Aldi or Walmart. Okay. And Verna says, yes, rabbits can eat fresh, raw pumpkin flesh in very small amounts as an occasional treat. It's important to only give them a small portion due to its high sugar content. That is also true. Yep. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to give them any because I don't have any to give. Yeah. So that's a good thing to know. Thank you. Verna says, personally, I would give them about an ounce or a square about the size of a golf ball. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, so that's pretty good. So yeah, historically I have grown just regular pie pumpkin, and then whatever comes up after that. And I would always save seeds and hardly ever planted them because something came up. You only need a couple plants for one person or for one family, unless you're gonna like do a whole bunch of stuff with it. The one that I really enjoyed when I planted it was delicata. That one, delicata squash, is amazing. So I encourage you guys to next year do delicata. Now, if you're saving something from the grocery store, you may get something that will grow that thing it came out of, or you may get something that's hybridized. So I don't know. I'm gonna call it. Is it a myth? Is it a verified myth? I don't know. That some hybridized squashes can be poisonous or toxic or something. I've never experienced it. I don't know anybody who has firsthand experienced it or secondhand experienced it. Basically, if you taste it and it's bitter and it's not a bitter melon, spit it out and don't eat it. There's my recommendation. I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. So yeah, the information with hybrids, I don't know anybody that had experience where their stuff hybridized and it was bad. But there you go. But squashes that are in the grocery store are grown for grocery store. Squashes that are grown for seeds are grown in separate fields, separated by other squashes, because squashes readily cross. So if in your own garden you're growing something, or somebody else, or you stuff in the grocery store, you don't know what it's crossed with, and it may be fine. It may be a more delicious variety. Who knows? But just be prepared. If you save seeds from a delicata squash, let's say, from the grocery store, and you plant it, you may not get something that looks like a delicata squash, or you may get something that looks kind of like it. So that's just a warning. And totally save seeds, totally plant them. Nothing wrong with that. I just want you guys to be prepared that it may not be true to type, depending on what it may have crossed with. All right, Brenna says, avoid feeding them seeds. The seeds, skin or guts. I never give them canned pumpkin pie filling or ornamental pumpkins, as they may contain chemicals. Okay, so that's just like things get sprayed. Not the seeds, though, huh? So no deworming your rabbits? That's interesting. I wonder why. Anyway, so yeah, that's the fun with pumpkins. Yeah, they're good though, and I need to incorporate them more. They can't digest it? Seeds? Interesting. I wonder what Andy does. If Andy comes on here, somebody remember to ask her that question about seeds. And rabbits. Yeah, so I hope you guys are ready for Halloween. I didn't get any trick-or-treaters last year. We generally don't here. The neighbor kids just moved in though, so I got a very small amount of stuff because otherwise I know I'll eat it. Yeah, so hopefully you guys have a good Halloween tomorrow, and yeah, go from there. But yeah, so on Monday I was driving on the way back. Actually, my regular time on here, I was eating dinner with my parents. But then I drove back Monday night, and so this last weekend, I went to the Oregon State Beekeepers Conference, and that was in Central Oregon, and it was really, really cool, really, really good. Lots and lots of information, lots of new research coming out, which is exciting considering that varroa mite and the diseases it brought with it from Asia to here is a fairly new thing, and kind of sounds like there's some really, really cool research going on that can help the issue. And so I'm really excited to see what the next couple of years bring with that, for sure. Yeah. And I'm not a bee expert, but I did just go to a bee conference. So if you guys have questions about bees, or if, we can do a thought process on it. So yeah. Okay, Brenna says rabbits cannot digest seeds. Really? Bee can easily become blocked by seeds, leading to severe health issues like bloat. And that's not just from small seeds, that's from larger seeds? Okay. Well, sorry, bunnies. No snackies. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely, for yourself, you can roast them for your animals, for your other animals too, but you can definitely roast them, and they'll keep for a very long time if they are low water content, for sure. And to save the seeds, I'm not doing a video on this. I probably should. Okay. I don't know. I'm not going to. Okay. If you want to save seeds from your pumpkin, all you have to do is wash off the seeds with water. How I do this is I get as much pumpkin guck off of it with my hands, then put them in a big bowl of water and go like this with them. And then take out the seed, drain the water, take out the seeds, and put them on a surface. It could be a plate. It could be a newspaper over plate, paper towel over a plate. The best thing I have found is for all seeds saving is a coffee filter. Just put that over a plate. And the reasoning is the seeds come off it very easily. Whereas you're going to get maybe a little bit of paper with the other two methods, which is fine as long as it doesn't rot. So yeah, you're fine. And just leave it there until whenever you feel like it. Hopefully it's not in a humid area. Hopefully it doesn't sprout, but if it's in a drier area and it's air drying, it'll take a few days. Give it a week. If you forget about it and it's there for 2 weeks, no big deal. And then when you package it up, just put it in a coin envelope. It's better to save seeds in paper bags than plastic bags. So coin envelopes is a good thing to have. You can save them in bigger, containers as well. But I'm just thinking, packets of seeds or smaller and give it to people or whatever. But yeah, that's how I do it. All right. People haven't found us yet, huh? You guys are lucky few. Well, let me show you. I was going to show you one of the things they have at these conferences is some little side things that you can do. And so I learned how to do stained glass. I am not an expert, but there's my stained glass. So let me see if I can do this with a light. So it's kind of brown on the head and a brown green on the butt, and then blue and clear on the wings. Blue because this year's queens are blue. So queen bees have, when you buy a queen bee, if you buy a queen bee, they may or may not be marked. And if they're marked, then they're marked with the color of the year. The color of the year, I don't know who decides these things, but it's worldwide. Worldwide color of the year this year is blue. So I just dropped it. That's okay. So that's why it's blue. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. It's, looks like a first time, but it was fun to learn and fun to do. I forgot to add a hook, so I'll have to add that later to hang it. So there we go. Pretty and cute. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Chris and Christopher channels. Is Christopher Dino? I never remember his name. And Chris is before me. Unless he changed his time. I don't know. I made my decisions when his time was earlier. And I don't know. Is Christopher Dino? I think that might be who it is. Sorry. All right. Yeah, that's what I meant. Dinosaur omelet dino. All right. Well, sorry, Christopher. All right. Erica says, baby girl is running and hopping all over the room. All right. Dawn says, good night. I have to get something came up. I have to go probably. Happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Halloween, Dawn. I hope you're doing good. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have Halloween plans or anything. We have a little thing for work. We did pumpkin carving contest. Mine kind of failed. I got my pink Cinderella pumpkin and I was like, oh, if I bake it and scoop it out, then I can wear it as a hat and then have a spaghetti squash and pose like I'm throwing a football with a helmet. Yeah, this is what happens, guys. And it was going to work except for the hat kind of fell apart before I could get all of the. I did it on a video, so I could just get the picture off it later, and it was not as funny as I thought, but whatever. Eating a pumpkin out of it, so that's good. Yeah. So that is that. Um, I know in town they're doing the trunk or treat, which I think is just so weird that people go and get things out of people's trunk instead of going around and showing off your costume. I think one of the churches does it. I don't know. Is that a church thing? Is that why I don't know about it? Seems like a lot of towns do it or a lot of churches do it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it started, or when it started. Did it start? I think I heard about it before COVID, right? I don't know. Anyway, so that I guess is happening. I went into Dollar General because that's the store here, and one guy was getting stuff out, and like, yeah, you got to get it today, huh? He goes, well, trunk or treat at the church, and so I figure I got to get some good stuff. Okay. Okay, Steve says churches started trunk or treat, though many other organizations do it now as well. Okay. And Verna says, here it was the city of Franklin that put it on. And kids still dress up in costumes. Yeah, I knew that part. Yeah, I knew that part. Yeah, interesting. So we had, while I was gone last weekend for the bee thing, our town had a costume contest. And so I did not make it to that, but there was a costume contest and people dressed up and all that. So that's good. Not sure what all the winners were. I saw some of the pictures, but I didn't see all of them. So yeah. And our town has prizes for that, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I also don't know how many contestants they had. Contestants. Yeah. So, when you're looking at pumpkins and you're going around to the stores and look at pumpkins and stuff, paying attention to how big they are and where you are. So, like, if you're in a northern latitude, you're going to get less light. Maybe aim for some smaller pumpkins because you don't have to grow next year is what I'm saying. Because you may not have enough light to do the big pumpkins. If you add light, then sure. But if you don't have enough light to do it, then doing reasonable sized pumpkins instead of huge ones, then that is good. So yeah. Prizes motivate people to join in. Yes, it does. Yes, they do, Verna. Yeah. I think they even had an adult prize in an adult group or something. I don't remember what it was. But not just for the kids. Mostly for the kids. Oh, Steve says pumpkins at the stores are smaller than normal and more pricier than past years. My pink lady pumpkin was $7.99, I think, at Albertsons. I think it was $7.99, and yeah, yep. Rona says, "Cause shrinkflation is also going on with food. Absolutely, absolutely. But a pumpkin should grow to the pumpkin size, right? It could be where they're taking their produce too. So they may have already pre-sorted it by size, and maybe one store is, paying more than another store, or maybe that's what the store ordered is smaller ones because they want to pay less or something. I don't know. I'm just making things up, but that is a potential thing. Yeah, we don't have, so we have like carving pumpkins at the local grocery store. That's it. And it's just like, I don't even think they have a whole shopping basket full. I think because most people shop out of town for their full groceries. But yeah, I am thinking out loud. Is that bothering? Thinking out loud. So yeah. But you're right. Shrinkflation is something that's going on in multiple things and multiple, like, not just food, but for sure for food. Even light bulbs. Light bulbs are now in packages of 3 instead of 4. Did you guys anybody notice that? Anybody notice that? Um, thanks, Verna. Yeah. Um, hey, it is not Monday. It is not Monday. Um, BFD 222. Yeah, so this Monday we didn't have the live because I was traveling. I went to a bee conference this weekend and was traveling on Monday. And then next week it will also be on Thursday because it's the first Monday of the month, and first Mondays of the month I go to a bee meeting. So we're switching it around a little bit. I know people are logging in or late for this or finding it by chance, but I hope you're doing good. And if you have any questions or topics of discussion, let us know. We've talked about pumpkins and a little bit about bees, not a whole lot about bees yet, but yeah, it is Thursday. You are correct. It's not Monday. Oh boy. So yeah, the one of the most exciting things that I thought it was exciting, at least from the bee conference, was the fact that um, they're dealing so much with. BFD says, since I retired, it is already hard enough to keep track of which day it is. Oh boy. Um, anyway, so we have the varroa mite, and varroa mite came in from Asia. European bees are European. They are not honeybees are not native to here. But it was an interesting thing because the varroa mite is somewhat recently, and not like yesterday, but somewhat recently new to the scene in the United States. And bees are so set in their ways. They're like, this is me. This is my job. I do only my job. And that they don't really have it figured out how to get rid of the varroa mite, how to pull them off each other and kill them or whatever. And so what's interesting is that there's actually something that can be used that does not affect the honeybees, does not affect the honey, and is basically birth control for the mites for 4.5 months. And of course, new mites can come into the situation between that time, but it slows if you have a low population, it'll keep it lower. I just thought that was fascinating. I thought that was completely fascinating, and I'm very excited to find out what else they're going to come up with. Seems like there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of different ways of dealing with the varroa mite. That it's looking very positive. I feel to uh, to have all these innovations in mite control. And as they say, if you're a beekeeper, you're raising mites. You have mite control. You're you know mitigation, right? Is your mite control. So, and for to just give an illustration about how big these mites are. So the mites are parasites. They are external parasites. They latch on. They suck all the juices. They suck all the fat bodies. And then while they're doing that, they're spreading disease potentially because I think they talked about at least 4 different diseases, and there could be more that can be spread from mites, and it's the varroa mite that we're talking about. But for example, if I was the bee, if the size of a bee was me, then the size of the varroa mite would be like this big. So it'd be like a huge parasite. Um, and it's pretty nasty to watch them get attacked. I went to the fall bee school, whatever it was. And they actually had a dissecting scope on some comb that was an infested area. It was really infested, and we could see how fast the varroa mites go, super fast, and also just when they latch on to the bee, just how annoyed she is. Not annoyed, she's probably in pain and pissed off, but she's trying to get it off and can't get it off, and then just has to live with it until it decides to, do something about it. So anyway, so that was really exciting. It was really exciting to talk to some people that were there was commercial beekeepers and home beekeepers, and like ones in the middle, and so that was pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, Berta says trail video is interesting too. It would have been a little bit more interesting if I could film closer to the ground all the time. Miss Remy Doggy thought I was playing with her, and I was not. But thank you, and I hope. Yeah, so Verna's referencing the video from today that came out today, and it's talking about looking at trails a little differently, and being able to figure out how big the animal is that goes on it, and some of that stuff. So yeah, yeah. BFD says the latest shrinkflation thing I noticed is paper plates. They still have the same plate count, but the diameters are slightly smaller. Sneaky, sneaky. Maybe they're putting everybody on a diet. Oh, Brenna says, how about how is affecting bread? Good bread. They only sell by half loaves. I have not seen that except for sourdough, which I think was always sold as a half loaf. Well, always, maybe not always, but for a long time. Interesting. BFC says Safeway now sells half a pie and sometimes even quarter a pie. Okay. And single slices from Kroger and Meyer. Interesting. I've seen single slices, and I mean, it kind of makes sense if someone's just going in for, snack or whatever. But yeah, and half of pies have been out there for a long time. Now I don't know that that's shrinkflation unless it's the same price as what a whole one used to be, or if it's just, hey, here's a half a pie. But yeah, yeah, no, things have been shrinking. I mean, look at how wide your toilet paper roll holder is versus your toilet paper roll. They've cut off like that much, at least. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was gone, my French drain got its maiden voyage in the rain, but I don't think it rained enough to get into the French drain. I think it rained the one tube that's connected up to the downspouts. It had water coming out of it. Apparently, I wasn't here. I was, other people have told me this. So so that is working. Hopefully the French drain works wonderfully. It's good. It's in place where it needs to be. Um, and yeah, and all of that. At the same time, I had them consider they're dumping gravel anyway, and I knew it was going to get mixed into the dirt. In the little parking area here, I had them gravel that, and so that is done. And he dug it out to put the gravel in, so it's not like a mound of gravel, and put some road fabric under it, so it should be a good, solid. Don't have to do it again ever, hopefully. But with what he pulled out of there, I now have a mound that is built up next to the road, next to the ditch, so I need to be planting that, so that is good. And I have some irises that I got from someone, and I can go over and get more of them from him. And I think I'm going to plant it with irises. The lilacs that are next to the door here, up against the house, the guy was going to scoop out with the bucket and move, because they're pretty large. Some of them were cut down and they're like that big. And so I think that will need a bucket, but he didn't want to do it because it was too muddy and he didn't want to mess up everything over here, which completely get it. So that's going to probably wait until later. But I want to at least plant something in there. And so I think the irises will be that something for a little bit at least. I don't know how much erosion control that will be, but it will be something. So yeah, that is my plan. I probably should call the people that got irises from and say, hey, let me have more. Yeah. Yes, I do have a couple rivers coming towards me this week, Verna. I looked at the, so was it last time or the time before, we identified some of the weather channels on YouTube. Pacific Northwest Weather Watch is the one that I pay attention to for my area. And let me just check on weather the weather channel thing to see when it says it's starting. Okay. Saturday. Oh, but wind tomorrow. So Saturday, skip Sunday, then all next week pretty much. Then one day of sun and all the week after that. So yeah, we have some atmospheric rivers coming our way. So yeah, it'll get tested. I am looking forward to winter stuff. I'm hoping that all of my dirt that is exposed does not wash away. But yeah, that's my thoughts. But I do need to be planting those things. So yeah. All right. And BFD says, Verna, those atmospheric rivers are no joke. We've been evacuated a few times over the past years. Wow. What state are you in that you're evacuated? That's amazing. Or maybe you're near a river. You don't need to worry about me. I'll be okay. Thank you, Verna. Yeah, so as far as water goes, I am well away from the creek. If the creek is a problem, we're going to need an arc. I'm that far away from it this way and this way. I'm going to knock on some wood and say I don't think that would ever happen. And if it did, we're going to be in bigger trouble. Okay, Russian River. Yeah, along Russian River. Okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Berta. Um, what the issue was last year and where some damage, I don't know, small damage, happened. Well, big damage on the roads up there, but nobody covers that. Was that the water table just came up and up and up and up and up, and there was water coming out of the ground behind the house and just staying there, and it was going underneath the house and all that. So this is why the French drain was important to put in, and there is enough. I have a video on that too, so I just need to put it together and do an intro because I forgot to film the part where he was digging it, which I really should have because he really like inched the machine back there to dig it. But it's overbuilt. There's 3 4-inch tubes in there that has the holes in it for the water to get in. And so it definitely should take the flow that's just take it out and away from the house. So yeah, it was definitely overdone, which is what I wanted. I said, okay, how do we make this ridiculous? How do we make, they make this more than what's needed? And then the 4th pipe is a solid pipe, and that goes from the downspouts over there. So yeah. Hey, my dad's here. Welcome, welcome. It looks like you're getting the big rain next week. We have a 20% chance one day next week. Yeah, we get rain. I just checked. It said Saturday, and then Monday and on, and then I think there was one day the weekend or something after that. But yeah. My dad has swum in the Russian River when he was young. He used to camp at Caswell State Park near Tracy. So if BFD knows where that is, my dad has been there. Yeah. I've been to the Russian River once, I think. Is that where is the strawberry festival around there? I was very disappointed in the strawberry festival. It was more like people that want to do drug festival. There was glass instruments everywhere, and I'm like, this is not strawberries. So hopefully it's changed. I don't remember where that was. It was somewhere along the Russian River, which I know is a larger, river. Okay, so BFT said, my home is never going to flood, but will the hill above my cabin stay in place? To get out or hunker down is always a choice. That is true. That is true. Apple blossom, apple festivals. Yeah, landslides from rain. That's what Verna's saying. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, it's always a possibility. My hope is that my hill is used to kind of having extra water. and maybe it's ready for the extra water. That's my hope. Yeah. Um, well, I know what it could hold last year. So last year is quite a big year. And we'll see what happens with these couple atmospheric rivers. Now, the town I live in still has not received any response from FEMA. Um, and FEMA, they applied for FEMA funding for there a lot of damage in the town, a lot of damage in the town, um, and have not heard anything from them. So it seems like hurricanes take precedent over random flooding events. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm going to say about that is that they have not received anything from FEMA yet. So there you go. Doesn't surprise you, yeah. So BFD says we've rarely had any rain this year, so redwood trees should soak up a lot of rain. So there's a couple of things that happens if you haven't had a whole lot of rain is the soil can get hydrophobic, so it can actually just run off and create a bigger problem. Now what you want, hopefully what you get is a nice light rain to get things wet first, which we already have here. Well, we've already gotten an inch, almost an inch in a day, 0.93. But that's what you want is to kind of moisten up that top um, layer and not necessarily like go anywhere, just to loosen up the top layer, get it a little bit used to water, and so that when bigger water comes, it will go into the system. So yeah. Yeah, Verna, it wasn't a recent problem. It's been since last year. But yeah. Um yeah, and redwood trees are supposed to be in the fog belt. So the fog belt has kind of changed. When I was in like just south of the Bay Area, um yeah. When I was there, the hills of that area had redwood trees, and the redwood trees are their range is, so we're talking about coast redwoods. Their range is where they get enough water, and how they get enough water is the needles are designed to catch fog, and then the fog um, condenses onto those needles, rolls to the edges, and drops off. So that's the drip line of the tree where it drips, and that waters the tree. So they are supposed to get water in the summer if you have summer fog. But that fog has been reduced for a very long time. It's just gotten less and less and less. So I anticipate their habitat getting less and less and less, and probably having a whole lot of die-offs because of that. Yeah. Okay, so BFD says this past month we've had the light rain, but historically it's feast or famine when it comes to rain. Yeah, yeah. Um, well, I'm in a rainy area now. I believe I have things ready. The only thing I don't is parts of the road that got eroded last year haven't been repaired. Um, that big repair that needs to happen up on the power line road. Apparently, they lost the work order because they don't have it, and I had to make a new one. Yay! For the power company. Okay, BFD says, Katrina, you are so correct about how redwoods drink. We do get a lot of marine layer fog all summer. Good, good. Has that reduced at all where you are? Because I know like for the near Bay area, it has reduced a lot. Um, Central California also gets a tule fog, and that's bad. Like if it's there and you're supposed to be driving, just get off the road. Yeah. Rogue River is in a different watershed than me, and that is south of me. So, um, 40 minutes, maybe. Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's south of me. So, Yeah, I'm at the southern reach of my watershed. So, but that's on a different watershed south of me. Um, yeah, it's it's an interesting watershed. um, yeah. So this creek that I talk about, I haven't really, I haven't shown you guys because it's not on my property, but you can see the trees all the time, riparian. That creek really just starts up in these hills and um, goes down into the next creek and keeps on going. I mean, it it has a lot of water in it. Um, well, it had a lot of water in it this last winter, but it has water in it year round, so it's not ephemeral, which is nice. Oh, the fog didn't burn off until about 10 a.m. That's good. That's good. We're starting to get some fog here. Starting to get some fog here in the morning. So that is something that's happening now. I was sitting outside on the front porch last night or night before, with Mr. Ringo Kitty, and I was actually just watching something on my phone on YouTube and petting the cat, and I start hearing like with some stomps, and this deer was like, "What are you?" I'm like, "You know what I am." Shush. So yeah, um, stomping deer, stomping deer. Uh, we, I think, are getting more elk. I think I haven't been up early enough, but I've seen more little poos, big poos. Um, we do have the largest variety of elk, Roosevelt elk. They can get over 1,000 pounds. That's funny. I moved from an area with the smallest elk, which is Thule elk, to an area with the largest elk, which is Roosevelt elk. There you go. Yep. Yep. BFD, have trouble motivating myself to get into the garden when it's foggy. Yeah. Here's your reminder. Here's your reminder. Daylight savings time is this weekend, right? I think it's this weekend. This Sunday. So yeah, that's gonna screw with a bunch of people's day. I never liked daylight savings time. I just think if people need to get up earlier, get up earlier. If people need to get up later, get up later. Like, why do we need to change the clocks to tell us what time it is? Um, I mean, like garden centers have summer hours. Some gas stations have summer hours. You just call it summer hours where you stay open an hour later or shift your hours or whatever. Yeah. My dad says the only time we get a fog here is in the winter when it's about 20 degrees. Fun. When we do get it, it usually lasts about a week. Day and night starting at 20 degrees. Fun. Yeah, and you get hoarfrost too there, right? Where it coats everything. Yeah. Do you remember? I'm asking my dad, do you remember that one year that it got so icy? Do you remember what the conditions are? Like what it was, what the news called it, or if it was, because I don't think it was freezing rain, was it? What did we have that had the icy conditions? So where I grew up, you have to walk uphill both ways, sometimes in the dark in the winter, right? Um, and no barefoot, but I should have, just to say that I did in the snow, right? Uh, and it was 7/10 of a mile to the bus stop, and I would always meet my friend at an intersection, or we'd go there, or she'd go there, or whatever, and then we'd go down together. And we ended up walking. It was a 2-hour late start. We hardly ever had canceled school. It's always 2-hour late start. We had 2-hour late start, and because of the weather, and the roads were icy, 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 icy. And so we decided to walk down to the bus stop anyway and see what we could see. And slippy and all that. And um, we come upon my dad, who had uh, I don't want to say crashed, had very slowly put his car into a tree. um, because the turn that you have to make is banked wrong and it was too icy. And so instead of turning it, it went, and we came upon him crawling across the road. Hope you're okay with me telling the story because too bad I just told it. Yeah, and we counted 11 cars on the side of the road that day. 7/10 of a mile, 11 cars. I don't know how many houses are in that neighborhood, but pretty high percentage. And I remember, so it was a cinder butte. So I remember they don't put salt or sand on the road, they put cinder on the road. And so I remember the cinder truck got stuck up a very steep hill, and um they couldn't get down because they ran out of cinder. And so the guy had a shovel out and he was shoveling the cinder from the side of the road onto the onto the road so he could get back down. So yeah, pretty interesting. Freezing fog, probably. Okay. Roads get like an ice rink. Yeah, I just remember that one day was like we'd never seen before. It was just literally ice. Berta says, wow. Yeah, my dad says I literally had to crawl back home after. Yeah, exactly. And so probably freezing fog. Okay. Yeah, and of course they did a 2-hour late start, and then they just kept on going. Okay, time to go to school. School bus coming. I don't even know if I they may have canceled school maybe twice up there. That's my guess. Ever. Like we would always have 2-hour late starts. So we're always, watching you'd have it on the radio or you'd watch it on the news. It had the ticker. And we'd always be like, come on, cancel it. But they didn't hardly ever. Because if they cancel it, then they have to make it up at the end of the year. And they don't want to do that. Which makes sense, you know. But yeah, so that's what happened there. um Here, I've only spent one winter here so far, so I don't know what the norm is. I know that what happened this year as far as snow was very little, and people still freaked out. So I think this area doesn't get a whole lot of snow. Our maximum snowpack last year was 5.5 inches. So, wasn't very much. And then Snowmageddon, which was several years ago, when I guess it dropped pretty low and snowed a lot. I think the previous owner here said that it was 2 feet deep, and that was like really deep here for this area. And so I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. Uh, yeah. So yeah, if it freezes, I don't necessarily have to go anywhere. That's the other good thing, right? Yeah. 20 degrees is way too cold for BFD. Yeah. The lowest low on record here is 14, and we got down to 16 last year. 16 or 15? 16? I think 16. And I don't know about if the record is probably in town is where the record is, probably not here. And I think it's probably colder here than in town. Just a little bit. Yeah. BFT says I remember school closing for snow only once or twice growing up in the Willamette Valley. Yeah. Now I would expect them to close it more there. I remember as a kid watching Z21, our local news, they would put to music cars in Portland going down these icy hills and just like bumping into each other, like the low impact crashes, and like do 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 do. Another one comes down a hill. It's like, guys, just stay off the road. Yeah. So that's the story of my childhood snow stuff. I remember one year, fourth grade, there is snow up to my knees. I don't know how tall I was, so I can't tell you. But that was like the most snow that we ever had. But where I grew up, we usually have at least a week below zero. I don't know if the whole time is below zero or just the daytime. Just the daytime. Of course, it's going to be nighttime too. Just nighttime. I don't know. There was usually like 1 week below zero, or maybe something like that. I don't know. But where I am now, it's just going to be not that much, I think. Oh, Seattle had those videos too. Greater entertainment. Yeah. Yeah. Verna says today was like the second day of rain for us. Poor Lucy was drowned every time we went out. Oh no. Poor Lucy. Poor Lucy. Yeah. Gotta get her a doggy umbrella hat or something. They make things like that now. I do have an umbrella for my camera that I got last year, so that is good. Umbrella for the camera is a good idea. Yeah, I have clear umbrellas too for me, which is good. I hate umbrellas. I don't like people with umbrellas because they don't know how wide they are or where my eyes are. Thunk, thunk. Um, yeah. I'm a fan of the clear ones that people can put over themselves and they can be like in the umbrella because then my eyes don't get poked. Yeah. Yes, Verna goes out with her, but you know, Lucy's a doggy. She gets wet. Yeah. It was really funny to see my parents' dog, Remy. You guys have now seen her too if you watch today's video. Um, you'll see her in a future video as well for the camera traps. This weekend, I guess I'm doing it on Saturday because it's the only sunny day. This weekend, I'll be putting out cameras and doing another camera video. So if you enjoyed those or if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and look. There, I have an intro to trail cameras playlist. I have a trail camera playlist anyway, but this is just specifically intro. Like this is like how to stuff, and it's going to have I think 5 videos in it. I already filmed the last one as far as I know, but then this one will be the big one, which I might actually split it up into 2. We'll see how long it is. It'll probably be pretty long. I'll probably split it up into 2 different ones because I want to give you guys the most chance for success in setting up um, your own trail cameras, whatever the situation is, and if there's research implications, how to do that as well. But yeah, so I'll be doing that on Saturday. Hopefully it's sunny and doing that. Yeah. So yeah, no yard at Verna's place. She has to walk her. Yep. Lucas has a raincoat. I believe you, Erica. That's awesome. Welcome back, Desiree. Yeah. Yeah, putting up these cameras is going to be really good. It's really going to be I think the elk are already doing their thing in the pasture. I really do. I think they're doing their thing already. And I just need to get some cameras out there and see what I need to do. I don't know if I'm going to clear as much as I clear stuff usually because I think I'm going to have to put it up higher somehow. I think I'm going to try not clearing and see what I get because I don't want to go out there and have like a bunch of elk legs. I want the whole thing. So it'd be fun. It'd be fun. And you guys will see. You guys will benefit from those camera placements. So yeah. Um, Harder to find things like that for Lucy. Lucy's a little bigger than Lucas. Yep. Yep. They make them, but whether she'll wear it or not is another story, right? Desiree says I almost had a heart attack, drank some orange juice, then ate some mint chocolate before realizing that's a bad idea. Good news is it didn't taste awful. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. You're funny. Mint and chocolate is good, and orange and chocolate is good. So, yeah, I can mount the cameras on the solar on the poles, on the posts. I can put them on there. Um, yeah. Hey, Farmal, good evening to you. Good evening. Hope you're doing well and prepared for Halloween. Hey, we have some new people on here now. So, did anybody plant pumpkins this year? that they are going to use as decoration or for cooking. A lot of the pumpkins that are in the stores right now are delicious. I got a pink lady pumpkin, which is, I'm going to say this without knowing for sure, but it is in the Cinderella pumpkin. Looks like a Cinderella pumpkin, where it's kind of squat and carriage like. um, and it's delicious. So try some of these pumpkins, even if you have it out for decoration. When you're done having it as a decoration, bring it inside and eat it, because they are pretty good. Yeah, yeah. Desiree says, "Have you ever brushed your teeth with mint toothpaste and drank orange juice after? The worst taste." Well, then you already know this. Why did you do such a thing? BFD says, "I won't take the pup for a walk early in the morning because the deer startle me. Then I startle the pup, who is blind and deaf. She barks, and who knows which way the deer will go." That is true. That is true. Keystone Cops. Oh, so you have a blind and deaf puppy. Wow. Well, hopefully they get lots of love, and that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. Um, Anime water is your answer for that. She says, "I was thirsty. The only thing I had on hand." Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You gotta have some milk if you're gonna have chocolate. Those are the rules. Unless you don't do milk, then those aren't the rules. Oh boy. So I'm gonna show this again because some people came on. When I was at the bee conference, which was really, really, really good people, really good information. Um, I learned how to do stained glass, and this is a bee, and she has a little blue heart there because blue is the color of dot for queens this year. They have a different dot that they mark queens with. Um, if they emerge in a certain year, they get that color. I don't know who sets that standard. Somebody does, but there you go. Anime says plain milk I can't, but chocolate is good. What do you mean you can't? It's just chocolate milk without the chocolate. You don't like the taste, I'm assuming? Yeah, chocolate milk's pretty good. Oh, funny. Funny. Um anyway, so kind of going back and forth between pumpkin related things and bee related things, because as I told you guys, we talk about bees, but really it's just I was excited that there was so much research that's coming out about bees and about varroa mites, which is their pest. And it's really exciting. It's really exciting to see that, and exciting to see all the enthusiasm people have for it, and for bees in general. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, good night, Erica. Have to get up at 12 again at 4. So going to sleep while you can. Is this the goat? Have fun with the goat. Good night, Erica. BFD said, "I only got one pumpkin this year, but it was beach ball size. It took the chicks 3 days to gobble it up." Oh boy. What kind was it? Did you grow it or did you get it at the store? Yeah. Um, oh, going back to growing winter squashes, if you choose to grow a winter squash, be aware of how big they can get. Delicata can go for miles, I swear. They can get huge. A little pie pumpkin, it'll spread out. It'll give you, get some good room, but the delicata will take over your world. So there you go. Autism says no to plain milk. If I can, I can if it's milk and Oreos though. Interesting. I did not know that. Oh, you grew it. Hail. I'm gonna look up hail. Hail pumpkin. Well, that comes up with the Great Pumpkin Smash. Variety. Variety. And it's just giving me tons of pumpkin varieties. But that's okay. That's okay. Erica says autism says no to soggy Oreos. What are you guys talking about? Oh, okay. Verna says try growing them upward instead of letting them take up the ground. That is a great idea as long as the vines can support the fruit, or that use tie supports. There are lots of names. Yeah, Desiree heard of a chocolate pumpkin. It's probably not actually chocolate. I mean, if someone can grow a pumpkin that is chocolate, I would love to have seeds. Send it my way. Yeah, they're just like there's a chocolate sapote. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It's just the color. But yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the chocolate pumpkin, but there are pumpkins of all colors. Let me look up chocolate pumpkin. I'm probably just going to have chocolate. Okay. Hot chocolate pumpkin. All right. It looks like just a regular pumpkin, little short, squat, fat one. It's a medium. It's a light brown pumpkin. Round with light ribbing and a thick. Okay. All right. So that's what it is. Made by Hershey. Yeah, right. All right. Okay. I get it, Erica. Thank you. Different people have different sensations with eating. Got it. Oh my gosh. BFD says, I grew cantaloupe vertically, also small watermelons. Cantaloupe and honeydew have to be the best thing I've ever had out of a garden. Best. Homegrown cantaloupe and homegrown honeydew. When you touch it, it comes off. That's when you know it's ripe. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. And you will never like crave a store-bought cantaloupe again. It's very different. Even if it's a good one, it's still picked too early and all of that. But yeah, growing them yourself in the garden, wonderful, wonderful. Texture stuff. Got it, Desiree. You can net bigger fruits for the netting. Yes, yes. Yep. So BFD says what they're ripe when stems dry out. Yeah. So cantaloupe and honeydew literally will fall off the vine when they are ripe. Like it'll be done. It'll detach. And I have a story, a very sad story about cantaloupe I grew. I grew cantaloupe. What happened this year? I don't remember how many years ago. It was several years ago at my old place. And something you guys should know is that pantyhose, yes, pantyhose, knee highs, whatever, deter rats from gnawing on whatever you put in them. So you can put melons in them, you can put squashes in them and all that, and the rats won't chew on it. I don't know. They're texture oriented too, apparently. I don't know why it deters them, but it does. Not sure about mice, but rats apparently. But it does not deter ground squirrels. Ground squirrels have a sneaky thing where they sneak into things and they get food and go away. I had pantyhosed, knee-hied my cantaloupes, and they were so ripe. They're almost getting ripe. And when you're a home gardener, you can say, I'm gonna pick them in the afternoon, not the morning. It's not ripe yet. It's gonna be ripe this afternoon. You can pick it at the peak ripeness and eat it right there, and like that's the best. And so I would go out there every day, and I'd go like that, and like, okay, how does it feel? And does it break off? No, okay. And then it was like, oh, it's gonna be tomorrow. It's gonna be tomorrow. So I go out there to feel it, and I go. This ridiculous ground squirrel had gone through the backside, chewed through the knee high into the cantaloupe, and ate the entire thing from inside the cantaloupe. and popped out the same hole. I was so pissed. So pissed. Yeah. Yeah. So there's your warning and your savior and your warning, depending on what you have trying to chew on your stuff. My goodness. Verna says grocery store produce only has half the flavor from that you grow yourself. I would say less than that for some stuff, you know? I mean, a lot of the melons, especially, are just so much better fresh. Yeah. What's a ground squirrel? Desiree. Um, I'm trying to think of what you guys might have out there. Do you guys have nine striped or 13 striped ground squirrels? You're being nice. Yeah, Verna. I don't know what you have in the area, but it's a squirrel. So the squirrels that live around you, Desiree, are mostly going to be tree squirrels, and they live in the trees and they forage in the trees, and they'll come down and they'll steal things and behead your sunflowers and climb up the trees with them and eat all the seeds and have little decapitated sunflower heads on the ground underneath the tree. Experience, yeah. So those are the squirrels that you usually have where you are. There is also a thing called a ground squirrel, and there's multiple different species of that. And what they are is they're squirrels that dig a hole and live in the ground. And they live in the ground. They have a big mound out the front. They're very obvious where they are and all that. This little dude, no idea how it got into the neighborhood. It was at least a mile away from any other ground squirrel. I think it got dropped by a hawk. That's what I think. That's what I think. Um, and so this little ground squirrel had taken up residence in my neighbor's yard. She also has a garden. Left her garden alone. My garden must have been better. I don't know. Left her garden alone, and I got the brunt of the foraging of this ridiculous ground squirrel. I finally trapped it. She didn't want it there, so I trapped it over there. I tried, and live trapped it, and then released it where its brethren was. But not before it stole a cantaloupe. It would take like my tomatoes and go up on the fence in between us and eat them facing me. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. So yeah, ground squirrels are squirrels that live in the ground, and you say groundhogs and brown, gray, black squirrels. Yeah, so groundhogs is something that lives on the ground, but it's not the ground squirrel. So ground squirrels are going to be about the same size or maybe a little smaller than your tree squirrels. Yeah, nice of me to feed the wildlife. Yeah, exactly. Um, People here call them digger squirrels as well, because they dig, I guess. So digger squirrel and ground squirrel is the same thing. The ones I'm familiar with over here, I think we have California ground squirrels. I think that's what we have. I think it's the same thing that's that's in the Bay Area in California. And then Belding's ground squirrels is higher elevation. I don't think that's what we have. Belding's ground squirrels goes through. I just forgot the name of it. Summer hibernation. Estivation. They go through estivate. They estivate, so they can get too hot, and when that span of time in the summer is too much, they just go underground and either live under there or go to sleep. I don't know what they do, but they estivate, and then they come back up when it's cooler. Yeah. BFD says, I think I now have them trained to go to my neighbor's yard. Oh boy. Right? Verna says, tree squirrels have large bushy tails. Ground squirrels either have small tail or long narrow tails. Where you are, that is true. Here they have bushy tails, but not as bushy as the tree squirrels. And we have different tree squirrels than you guys. So here we have the western gray squirrel, which is, I think, the largest tree squirrel here. We have the chickarees, which are also called Douglas squirrel, and those are very small. They're very small. Besides their tail, you would mistake them. Their size is like a large chipmunk. At least 2 chipmunks that I've seen, but I don't see them very often. And then we have, I don't know that I've seen the eastern or like eastern fox squirrel, eastern red squirrel, whatever they are. I don't think I've seen them here, but I'm sure they exist near here. Those are invasive here. Yeah, but we do have little chicories. Yeah, so the ones I'm familiar with in the Midwest they do have very narrow, like pencil thin tails, and they're striped. And I don't know if all of them are striped out there or just some of them. Um, I remember 13 lined, and I think there was a 9 lined, and they're striped like this direction. They're striped along the body. Um, Again, I'm generalizing Midwest from Iowa, so take that with whatever size grain of salt you want. Yeah, I did my undergraduate in Iowa, so I do know a lot of the stuff out there. And then I was in Illinois for a little bit as well. So yeah, yep. Um, so you guys will see this in next week's video, but I planted the saffron before I left, and the rest of it. And I came back and did all that water, and I think some of them got pulled out, but I think some of them the heaviness of the water droplets just came down a lot at once and washed the soil part down, because now it's all white. It has a bunch of perlite at the top. So I think it just exposed a lot of the bulbs. So I planted those back in the other day. Um, Not getting any saffron this year. I think it's just going to go straight to the grass, the leaves. It looks like grass, so I said grass, but it'll go straight to the leaves. And that's fine. I planted it way too late for them to get the roots going for the flowers. So next year is when we'll do that. So yeah. Um, and hopefully they'll do well and not get dug up. Yeah. So yeah. So we asked this question earlier. Anybody have plans for Halloween? I got a small amount of candy in case any kids show up, because I know I will eat it. Yeah. Verna, is this a question or a statement? Oh, sorry. I did not see their first one. I see it now. Ohio has 4 common types of tree squirrels: eastern gray squirrel, eastern fox squirrel, and American red squirrel, and the southern flying squirrel. Oh, we have flying squirrels here too. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any evidence of them, but we supposedly have them here. The black squirrel is a color variation of the eastern gray squirrel. Yeah, so we also have, not here, but in the Bay Area, specifically Mountain View area, Palo Alto area, there is a melanistic squirrel. So the black squirrels that you're seeing there is, I want to say it's either eastern fox squirrel or eastern gray squirrel. But it's just a melanistic genotype. And so that just means that they're black. They show up as black, and it's a genetic oops, and that's all it is. Um, but it's spreading from there now. But it was pretty much Mountain View and Palo Alto area, that kind of region. And those black squirrels they're not a separate species. They're just black. Yeah. BFD says, in 20 years, I've only had a handful of trick-or-treaters, but I still purchased 3 bags of candy. Yeah, the thing is that if I get the like chocolate or other yummy candy, I just eat it all. I got that from my grandma. I have all of her sweet teeth. My mom got some of that, but I think it skipped a generation. My grandma would get a bag of Halloween candy and intending to have it for the kids, and then she'd have to go get another one, and then she'd have to go get another one. And right, Vernon? Exactly. So I definitely skipped a generation. I'm sorry if my mom's watching. You did get some sweet tooth, but I got the majority, I think. Um, yeah, they call to you. They talk, right? They say, "Come here, eat me." Uh, so yeah, another thing I tend to do is for Halloween, I tend to get things that last, like hard candies or something. I think this time I got a bit of honey and a little thing of. I don't know why. I know why. I'm gonna start over. You know the little strawberry candies? They're red and they come in a strawberry packet, and then like the twisty part is the green of the top of the strawberry. I associate that with Christmas because um at my dad's old work, we would go sit on Santa's lap. You know, they had like a Christmas party thing, and they went all out for the kids and had like Santa there and stuff. And we would always get this stocking that was made of mesh, like two pieces of mesh sewed together with something. I don't remember. And um and always had those in like some of those in there. So I always think of it as Halloween candy. So it's weird to me, not Halloween, Christmas candy. So it's weird to me as an adult seeing that like year round in as a choice. Although Christmas stuff is in stores already, guys. Saw that today. Um, Same here. Yeah, granny candy, exactly. I consider getting Werther's. They are good, but but those things last a long time. So yeah, strawberry candy is so good. I haven't seen those in many moons. BFD, they're in like the cheap stores. They're like at dollar store and Dollar General, and I should just show you them. It has nothing to do with homesteading, except for maybe being cheap. Yeah, that's what I got. So if that looks familiar, that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know if they have them in like grocery stores, but they have at Dollar General and Dollar Tree and stuff. So, but it's so weird to see them and have it not be Christmas stuff. But like I said, they already have Christmas stuff. I thought I saw Valentine's Day stuff at Dollar General. I was like, oh, are you guys serious? This is too much. But it was just pink and red, some sort of pajama for uh for the holidays for um Christmas. So I was like, okay, whatever. We're still in Halloween, guys. Skip Thanksgiving, go right to Christmas, you know. Um, but yeah, the strawberry things are hard candy with a little softish center. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not advertising. If that much is gone, sorry, you get a high five. um, yeah. Uh-huh. BFT says I saw my first Black Friday ad this week. Starts on 11/14, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Well, it's a way for retail to sell more. And I think with internet purchases, it's not as big a deal because like then you have Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday and all that. It's not as big a deal if you have like a wider time frame. Ver- Verna, BFD, I think Verna put that link for you. Strawberry candy on Amazon. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Cyber Monday has way better deals. If it's for cyber. If it's not for cyber, then no. Anyway, I'm not into all of that unless I need something. I at at this point right now, I don't think I need to get anything for the, super sale. Um yeah, I one time went out on Black Friday by accident. I wanted a watch band. My watch band had broken, and I wanted, for my Casio digital watch, which is worth $8 or whatever it is. And I got to Target and I'm like, why is the parking lot full? What is going on? And then it dawned on me that it was Black Friday and I turned around and went home. I don't care if I'm already here. I'm not dealing with the people right now. Uh, the BFD, hey, I share in your pain there. Oh. Verna says, I used to work retail on Black Friday. Oh my gosh, that's what happened to you. Kidding. My goodness. My goodness. That is quite a bit. That is quite a bit. Um, yeah, sorry. Um, hopefully the retail portion, like in the stores, hopefully it's better than it used to be because people are ridiculous. That's just a blanket statement, but we'll also apply it to Black Friday situations. Yeah. He's still Twitch from it. Has been 15 years. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, Verna. Yeah. Yeah, I don't go out on purpose, especially not early. I don't need to get things there early. The fact that they made movies about that, like the fact that they made movies about getting the last this kind of doll or whatever. I think they've made more than one that is like that. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a season of good cheer, right? Right after you give thanks, then get rid of all your thanks and go after something else. I don't know. BFD says, I was a big box retail manager. Thank goodness that was a long forgotten memory. It was. Now we brought it up again. You got to deal, process, and kick it out again. Yeah. Yeah. Verna says, I avoid crowds except for QuailCon and RenFest. Yeah. It's, crowds are different now. I will say that. Crowds are different now. Oh my gosh. BFD said, one year we had 1,000 Cabbage Patch Kids and they sold out in a few minutes. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, I'm going for like, hey, if I need a freezer or the battery stuff or, whatever it is, not like, I don't know. I don't have kids. So I don't have to deal with the toys. So there you go. One per customer. So there was at least 1,000 people that went in, huh? Wow. Wow. That's probably when limits started after the Great Depression. They're probably like, okay, no more limits. And then the limiting things probably started with Black Friday. And then when COVID happened, more limits. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Brenner remembers fights back then over that stuff. My goodness. No point. Over a hunk of plastic, right? Right? So let's do better in our shopping and make a gift. Make a gift. Make some jelly. That's something that someone will use and it will go away and they will not use it. There you go. I know, Verna. That's what's crazy. People have been killed over stuff like that. Yeah. People's tension gets so high and it's crazy. Yeah. And once people are angry, they continue to be angry. And I understand that. I've been there. I have been there, but I've been, it's like last straw kind of stuff. Yeah. When waiting in line. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's also true. BFD says COVID made Black Friday manageable because the store had to limit how many people came into the store. That is true. That's true. And I think online became more popular then too. Yeah, yeah, they had the .com bubble that burst, and then during COVID, .com I think probably went back a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I do not plan on going anywhere for that for Black Friday. I don't need to. No need. Home Says Matters is here. Welcome, welcome. Late to game, but hey, party people. I hope you're doing well. We are doing it on Thursday instead of Monday, so that might have been the weirdness that happened. Next week is also Thursday instead of Monday, and then we'll be back to Monday for the rest of that month and go from there. So yeah. So I'm going to say again, if you are a member of the Cook With Me, if you're a member of the channel, which is Katrina's Kits, then we are doing Cook With Me Live. We do that every month, and you can join at any time. There's a join button down below. There's also a link down below to join if the join button is not there, i.e. you have Apple. And We do Cook With Me every month. This coming month is going to be the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and we're going to do some Thanksgiving prep with pumpkin pie. So the recipe I have makes 2 pies worths, and so you can have some now, have some later, or bring them both to different places, or the same place, or whatever. And that is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a very good recipe. My dad doesn't like pumpkin pie. He likes this recipe. I don't know if he's still on, but he could vouch for me. Um, but it's very good. So uh, I will be posting that as soon as it turns next month, right? And I should probably do it early so people can do it. And then that is what's going to happen noon 30 Sunday before Thanksgiving. I think it's the 23rd. So anyway, the fun thing about the membership too is you can go back to any other of the Cook With Me lives. It's not live at that point; it's a replay, and watch that. Yeah, Sunday is next month. That's a very blanket statement. Yes, Sunday next month, the 23rd November, before the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Thank you. Keeping me on track. Um, So Furnace's party with her on Wednesday lives, then have lessons with Katrina on Thursday. That works. That works. Hey, I kind of made yours yesterday. I got pulled away from work for work and then another phone call. So I tried. Homestead says our nonprofit had an apple pressing. We did 30 gallons a day with 500 pounds of procured apples. Check if y'all have a gleaner group for your county. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have tons of apples, not now, but during the season. I just ate what I could, and the rest the deer ate, and I'm fine with that. I did get some stuff, but the pears I did harvest, not all of them, but I harvested a bunch of them. But that is a good idea. So what Homestead Matters is talking about, to glean, GLEAN, is to basically how it came about as a thing is people would pick their fields, and there's always going to be some left. People would pick their fields, pick their orchards, and there's always going to be some left, but there's not enough to hire someone to go back through and pick the rest. So that's called gleaning, is when you pick the remainder of the produce. You glean it. And so what Homestead Matters is saying is that sometimes there's a group that does that, or you can contact people on your own and say, hey, it looks like you have a lemon tree. Looks like they're on the ground. Mind if I have some? Now, that being said, do not strip a tree. If someone says, oh yeah, go ahead, take whatever you want, ask them what that means. Do not assume it's a whole tree, ever. There you go. All right. Oh, November 1st is Sunday? Okay, it's okay. BFD says, I'm a volunteer driver for a gleaner group. Awesome. Awesome. Brenda's got to get her calendar out. Right. So Homestead Matters says we give tax receipts for those who let us come through, go through the ends of it. We put it on our pantries, and everyone can get some of that goods. We always ask first. Always ask first, even if it's something leaning over the fence. That is my go-to. A lot of people don't ask if it's leaning over the fence. I say, you know what? That person's watering it. That person's caring for it. That person's trimming it. It's their stuff, even if officially you can just, I always ask. Because what if they've been watching that one thing for a month develop and they come out and it's not there? How pissed would you be, right? Ask first. BFT says Sonoma County has over 100 nonprofit groups that deal in food insecurity. Yep. Yep. Origination, not destination. There you go. There you go. Yeah, so that is a good point to ask about that. For my area, it's a little late for that. but for other areas it wouldn't be. Um, I have some apples on the tree. I think last year there was apples on the tree like into late November or maybe into December, but they weren't like they've already had some freezies. So um they're no longer tart like they used to be. Now they're sweeter, which is fine with me. But they are definitely not they're definitely more ripe than what you would store, for example. Yeah. Yeah. Verna says I ask permission. I ask for permission even if it's in public areas. Yeah. Always a good thing. Yeah. BFD says, Katrina, no, no, no. Do those people come over to pick up the fallen rotting fruit? What? Oh, that I was saying that I let drop. I had 8 deer that cleaned up after me very well. So I just didn't deal with it this year. They were good. Um, I don't know what you're if that's what you're saying, or you're talking about like if fruit is dropping and so people say, okay, can I take the ones off the ground or whatever? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's how you got the mini peaches. Awesome, Verna. Awesome. Cleaners will pick up after ourselves. Hey, no shameless plug there. It's fine. Yeah. So that is a really great thing. And I did not know actually there was groups of gleaners that was like as a group. I just thought it was something that people did. But yeah, if you're doing that, oh, you say if fruit is hanging over the fence, I say go for it before it falls. I'm talking about like over a sidewalk. Cause like I used to go for walks with my neighbors and like, oh, you're tall. Can you pick that? I'm like, that's like someone's tree. Why we so anyway, that's just me. That's just me. I had fruit trees planted in the park strip, and I very specifically planted in my old place. I very specifically planted a tree that people didn't know, and one that had green fruit because of where I planted it, and it did great. Um, and it was basically um, people didn't know what it was. I had irises at the base so that when things fell, uh, it would catch it and then kind of disappear. Like people didn't know where it was, or anyway, most people don't eat stuff off the ground. But pineapple guavas or fajoyas are excellent for that, and they are ones that you get once they have fallen on the ground. So um, I will be growing that here. I don't have them yet, but I will be growing that here. I think I'm on the edge. Actually, I don't think I am on the edge, but yeah. So I have plans to grow that here, and then but people didn't touch it because they didn't know what it was. And those things are freaking $3 and something a piece, each fruit in like Safeway, and they're horrible because they pick them. They don't wait for them to go on the ground. Yeah. Yep. Homestead Matter says I'm a part of Eugene area gleaners. Lynn Benton count. I think there's one in Roseburg too. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, that's the tree you've been talking about, Verna. Okay. Owners thought it was a cherry plum, but they were peaches that were the size of cherries. Yeah. Yep. They're fuzzy. Okay. BFD says farm to pantry fed 1.5 million servings of fruits and veggies in 2024, and we can't process everything that is available. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. Sounds like you guys are doing good things, helping out where you can, which is good. And there's lots of things you can do with stuff like that. I mean, I considered when I was living south of the Bay Area, California, we drove past an orchard and we could never figure out who the orchard belonged to, but we were going to ask if we could just pick up what was on the ground because there's tons of apples on the ground and they can't sell the ones on the ground, which is I understand, but it's silly. And so we're gonna ask that, but I couldn't even ever ask anybody. Nobody was ever out there, and there wasn't the house that was next to it, and they didn't know, and all that. So yeah. Oh, nectarine. What do they call nectarines? Peaches too. Nectarines are peaches. They're the same exact thing, except for peaches have fuzz. Genetically, they are exactly the same thing. Um, in fact, they're Andy of Andy's Orchard in Morgan Hill in California. He's done studies with that, and if you plant a pit of a peach or nectarine, you're likely to get something similar to what it is. It's not going to be true to type. It could be, but it's going to have more likelihood to be true to type than other things. But he has planted a pit of a nectarine and had fruit that was half, literally this half and that half. Half of it's fuzzy, half of it's not. And it is the same thing. It's just we call them different things because they serve different purposes. I mean, a nectarine is a nectarine and a peach is a peach, but it is the same thing. So hate to burst your bubble, but we can still talk about them being different. Yeah. So much waste in our abundant country. Yeah. Yep. It's not a peach, nectarine is not a peach plum hybrid. It is a peach. Yeah. Nectarine is a peach. Peach is a nectarine. It's the same thing. It's just one is fuzzy. One has a fuzzy gene, one doesn't. And they have different flavors that go with it usually. Yeah. Ah, you're being snarky. I figure you're being snarky, but I gotta tell you the whole story, Homestead Matters. I'm not lecturing you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm informing. Um Yeah, so Verna's been Googling. A nectarine is a type of stone fruit like a peach that is genetically identical except for a single gene that results in smooth, fuzzless skin instead of fuzzy skin. Nectarines have a pit in the center and can have yellow or white flesh or red or pink. Yeah. Um, yeah, so it's the same thing, and you can literally have one fruit that has half fuzz, half not fuzz, which I found fascinating. He had pictures of them, and it was really interesting. Um, and I still want his fruit tree. It's called Silk Road Nectarine. It totally is not shelf stable, but it's so tasty, so tasty. If someone wants to send me a tree of that, that would be great. Great. Yeah. Um, yes. See, you learn stuff here, Homes That Matters. They say, I always swore the only difference was fuzz. I didn't know that was a legit point. It is exactly legit point. It is exactly the same thing. And I would not have known that unless I went to a talk by Andy Martinelli of Andy's Orchards in Morgan Hill. If you have a chance to go, this might be his last year, unless this was the last year. Next year might be his last year doing orchard stuff. So if you live in the Bay Area anywhere close to that, I recommend you going. Let me look and see actually before I do that. Orchard Morgan Hill. Let's see. View our event calendar. So they have these wonderful fruit tastings. Okay, they're not open yet for next year, obviously, but let's see. I highly recommend if you are in that area of the world, and it's run by Andy Martinelli. He's a wonderfully knowledgeable guy. He's part of the California Rare Fruit Growers and all that. But if you're in the Bay Area, go ahead and look up them. They have a little store that is open sometimes, and you have to look at the website or call and see if they're open. But they have so many varieties, and what they do is they have these tastings that they'll sell tickets. I don't know how much they are now, but when I went, it was like $15 a person. And for $15 a person, you get, a little tiny plate to put stuff on. And then all these things are set up and they're all cut up different varieties and they're labeled. And so you can see what the variety is. And there's, I don't know. I think that's over the hill. So BFD is, I think they're part of Martinelli apple cider. They may be. I think he has a brother. I don't know if that's related or not, but and I think that's his last name. I hope that's his last name because I've been saying it. Um, but they have like a fruit tasting that's seriously crazy. You have like, I don't know, 100 different kinds of stone fruit cut up, or I don't know if it's 100. It seems like 100. It might be like 75 or 50 or something, but tons of different stone fruits just to try. And then if you get in line for an orchard tour, you go on an orchard tour, and they'll tell you what trees have already been they've already harvested. And if you Bruce, got it. Sorry. BDF. What am I saying? BFT? Okay, your name is Bruce. I will call you Bruce. Got it. Um, and basically, once those trees have been picked, they're not going to pick it again. So they're like, yeah, whatever you can eat, go ahead and eat it. And so you're like gorging yourself on all this fruit, being like, oh, I get all this free fruit. And then at the end, you're like, and you can pick your own to bring home with you, and pay for it, obviously. But yeah, they were like, anything you can eat during this, like go ahead and eat, go ahead and try different things. But if you go to the tasting first, you know what you like and you know what to get. That's how I found out about a cherry variety that I absolutely love and want to get. Um, and that is, it's a cherry variety called Black Republican. And it is it's a large, it's like a cherry like that big, and it's meaty. I mean, it has some juice, but it's not as juicy as the other ones, but it's meaty and it has a really good flavor. Um, and yeah, so that is pretty cool. And so cherry tasting is during cherry season, and they have like, you get to taste all these different kinds of cherries. And apricots is in with the peaches. I think they have like different seasons where things ripen, and you can do orchard tours and stuff. So I think he is shutting down as an orchard, but it's just so sad. But definitely check him out if he's still available next year. This next year, definitely check him out. And all of the stuff you can, they have stuff in their store, like they dry stuff, and they make all sorts of stuff with their fruits as well. So check that out. um I don't know what they have right now, but they're good, reliable people. That I think they're closing stuff. um no worries. Sorry. I transpose numbers and letters sometimes, and yeah, you're just a big freaking deal, right? Sorry. Bruce says, I got so freaking sick eating too many Bing cherries off a U-pick tree. My dad doesn't like cherries because he ate too many cherries at a golf course. That's the story he gives us anyway. Yeah, Verna says, I can remember the first time I tried an apricot, sweet memories. And the thing is, there's more than one kind of apricot. There's more than one kind of apricot. If you have not tried freeze drying an apricot and you have a freeze dryer and apricots, do it. It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Yeah. There's tons of different kinds of apricots too. I would say less so than peaches, but there's a lot. So yeah. um, like I said, I wanted to go this winter to the California area fruit growers and get sticks, get scions, but I think it's going to be next year. Um, I have to have things set up first. Yeah. Freeze dried peaches are also tasty, absolutely, but the apricots are so much better. They're like, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Um, and so I freeze dried peaches, and I actually made peach powder. I need to get some more out of the yeah. But you do peach powder, so you just make puree, put it on the tray, freeze dry it, and then powderize it. Powderize the word now. And you can then make anything out of it. I haven't done Jello yet. I want to try Jello. But you can make so many things. You can make um, the like water, like flavored water, basically, or juice, or turn it back into a puree or like a sauce, like a peach sauce, or even, make jelly with it later. I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff once it's a powder. You don't care for most freeze-dried foods. Yeah. Some foods are good. Homestead says, uh-oh, little hooligans are getting rowdy. Have a wonderful week, y'all. Appreciate the chat. Well, we appreciate you coming in. And hey, you left learning something. And we'll be back on Thursday of next week. So yeah. Sown fruits that freeze dried can blow your mind. Yeah. Yeah. The amount of flavor that comes out of these freeze dried fruits that are freshly picked, say that one fast. The flavor is amazing because what it does is it takes that amazing fresh flavor and it concentrates it so much. So yeah. Yeah. All righty. Well, we are past 8 o'clock. So you guys have any questions? We kind of got onto a good topic there. You guys have any questions? Let me know before we sign off here. And then next week we are doing Thursday instead of Monday again. And so look forward to that. Yeah, and wish me luck with the storms. It should go good. It should go good. We at least got a little bit of rain soaked in. It's still mud, but All right, Verna's got to let Lucy out. Good night to Verna. Good night to Lucy. And I think we're going to call it. So thank you guys all for coming. And thank you guys for watching the replay. If you're watching a replay, have great weeks, everyone. Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. Oh, you have one massive quail chick that's triple the size of others. That you got? Are you sure you didn't get a chicken? Sounds good to me. It sounds good to me. Hopefully it does really well. All right, we're going to say goodnight, guys. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend and week. Good night.